Welcome back to another episode of Projecting Grandeur. I'm your host, Ron Dichter. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you that have liked and commented, especially those of you that have shared. It means the world to me as we get the message out there. Today, I want to talk about forks, specifically forks in the road. We all face them. We all have them. We all have these decisions that we have to make in our business and in our life. And we spend a lot of time thinking about which direction we should go. We weigh pros, we weigh cons, we look at what we think would happen if we go one way, what would happen if we go the other way. And we spend all this time figuring out like, okay, I'm at this, fork, which way do I go? And then once we go, you need to go. But what ends up happening is we start questioning ourselves. So let's say we come to the fork and we decide we're going to go right. What ends up happening is you talk about, man, if we would have went left, we think this would have been the outcome. But the reality is that you're never going to know what the outcome would have been in a fork on the road that you didn't take. So rather than spending any amount of time, any amount of effort thinking about what would have happened had you have gone a different direction, you need to focus on the direction that you've chosen. You've done your research. You've done your homework on what could happen if you go one way versus the other way. You've kind of put your hypothesis together. And once you make that decision, you put your head down and you just go. You don't look back. You don't question the decision. You just go until you hit another fork. Because obviously, one fork is only the beginning, especially if you're starting a business, of how many times you're going to be faced with these decisions where, do I go left? Do I go right? And sometimes there's more than one decision. You've got forks with lots of different directions. Maybe there's 5 different choices. But spending time thinking about what would have happened if you chose a different direction is completely unproductive. It's also impossible to know because you didn't choose that way. And so for you to think about what would have happened had you have chosen that way, you're just guessing. You're doing the same exact thing you did when you were originally deciding on which direction you should go in the first place. So once you've made that decision, you put your head down, you put blinders on, and you just go. You commit to the decision that you've made. You commit to all of the actions that you put in what's going to happen if you go in this particular direction, and you make that choice to go. And again, don't spend time thinking about what would have happened if you went the other direction, because you're just not going to know. And again, you'll be faced with different forks and different challenges. And that doesn't mean you don't learn from the decisions that you've made, right? You're going to make lots of decisions in business where you're going to choose one direction over another. But what ends up happening is you have to learn from that, right? Here's what went right in that decision. And maybe what that will do is in the next time that you have a fork, you can then decide, okay, last time I went through this process for deciding whether I should go left or I should go right. And maybe you can enhance that. Maybe there's more questions that you can ask. Maybe there's a different whiteboard process that you can go through in figuring out which direction you want to go. But again, once you make that decision, you've made it. Go. Don't question yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Don't start wondering what would have happened if. Start living in the future and stop focusing on the past. I've heard this saying a bunch from different people, and it's so, so true. The reason that the front windshield is bigger than the back windshield in most vehicles is because you want to spend your time looking forward. And if you look at that little rear view finder, you're not spending a whole lot of time looking backwards. You're spending the majority of your time looking forwards. And that's how you should look at these forks in the road, as an opportunity to make a choice, put your head down, make a commitment, and go. And stop questioning what would have happened if you went the other way. All right, short one today, just nice and sweet for those of you that are trying to make those decisions. Go through your process, figure out what is the best direction, and once you make that commitment, head down, blinders on, go. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. This is Projecting Grandeur, and I am your host, Ron Dichter. And until next time, see you later.